Our story begins as the Abyss threatens to destroy Noel's hometown. The Abyss is a force that forms when too much mana fills the air and links the human world with the demon realm called the Void. When the Abyss deepens, more powerful creatures emerge, and tonight the Abyss has reached the depth of 12, enough to summon a deadly creature known as a Lord. Noel's grandfather Brandon was the strongest Seeker, and known as the legendary Overdeath, prepares for battle. As the threat looms, Brandon grips his weapon and mutters to himself how he never thought he wielded it again. Brandon orders Noel to stay in the shelter, claiming that help will arrive soon. However, Noel knows his grandfather too well. Help isn't coming. Brandon is preparing to fight the Lord alone, and Noel realizes that his grandfather plans to defeat it himself. With confidence, Brandon reminds Noel not to doubt him, asking if Noel has forgotten who he is. Overdeath, a name feared by all. Brandon promises to protect Noel with his life, and Noel calls out to him as he leaves. As Brandon prepares for the fight, he thinks about telling Noel that men can't let anyone look down on them, no matter when or what they face. Noel hides in the shelter, terrified as his mind races with thoughts of his grandfather. Noel stays hidden, feeling dread creep over him as the moments stretch on. Eventually, Noel steps out of the shelter and finds Brandon gravely wounded. Brandon reflects on his fate, acknowledging that even Overdeath has his limits. Brandon tells Noel that this is the path of Seekers. Choosing a life of combat means living with death always nearby. Despite his condition, Brandon asks Noel if he still wants to be a Seeker, even knowing the dangers that come with it. Noel holds back his emotions and responds with determination. Noel tells his grandfather that he will follow the same path and become a Seeker. Brandon is proud and tells Noel that being a Seeker is not enough. Noel must become the strongest, and Brandon asks Noel to promise that he will surpass even him. Then Noel swears that he will become the strongest Seeker. Brandon chuckles with pride and tells Noel that he loves him. In that moment, Brandon passes away, and Noel screams in agony. It's been 2 years since then, and we see that Noel has kept his promise to become a Seeker. Noel's team is confronted by monsters, so Noel expertly gives them orders on the best way to win the fight. Noel belongs to the weakest support class called Talkers, but he is proud of it being his job. After defeating the monsters, Noel's team starts cutting them apart. Noel explains that lesser vampires can't use magic, but their queen can reproduce rapidly, creating endless spawns, each strong enough to tear apart an ox. As they strategize, a vampire attacks Noel, but Tanya saves them just in time. The team considers targeting the queen directly to stop the spawns, but Noel is against it. Noel explains that their C-rank team should focus on the spawns first, for a higher chance of success. The team knows how critical Noel is to their success, acknowledging that as the buffer of the party, he has the authority to give them orders. Despite their rank, they can take on this B-rank mission because of Noel's direction and skills. Then Noel reflects silently on his role. Being a talker means he specializes in support, using his buff words to increase the team's combat abilities. However, Noel's fighting strength is weak, and he has to rely entirely on his comrades in battle. This is why talkers are often mocked as the weakest class. Suddenly, the queen comes out of nowhere, releasing a poisonous gas. The gas spreads quickly, causing chaos. Lloyd and Walter immediately recognize that they must save Noel first, because they know that they are powerless without his buffs. Tanya follows as they rush to rescue him. However, in confusion, Tanya is struck by the monster. Without Noel's buffs, Lloyd and Walter struggle to fight back, and they know that they can't win without him. The team begs Noel to give them orders, and they remind him that he is supposed to be the talker. Anger rises within Noel, as he tells everyone not to look down on him. Noel pulls out his weapon and prepares to show his team how a talker fights. Noel uses one of his talker skills called Tactician. By giving orders to the party, it'll increase the abilities of the members by 25%. Noel tells his team to avoid an attack, and he uses his battle voice, which increases the recovery speed of his team's stamina and mana. Noel asks Tanya to cast a barrier on the two warriors, and Noel tells them to destroy the monster. However, things get worse, as they notice more monsters nearby. Tanya begins to panic, so Noel uses his pure support skill to stabilize her frantic mental state. Noel sets a timer for 74 seconds, and Noel declares that he will take care of the small fry, so the others can focus on the main monster. Noel continues to instruct the others on every single move they make, and he tells them to prepare for their most powerful attack. Noel stuns all the small monster and prepares his magic gun, the only anti-monster weapon that a talker like him can rely on. Noel fires an ice bullet to freeze the monsters, but one escapes. Noel only has one bullet left and 43 seconds remaining on his timer. Noel determines that the monster will reach him in 23 seconds, so according to his calculations, he has just enough time to tell the guys to attack the main monster. Noel gets the message out just before the monster attacks him, and his teammates unleash their attack. Tanya is amazed that they were able to win, but she is horrified to find that Noel was struck. However, this is not the case, as Noel's timing was perfect. Noel dodged just enough to evade the attack, but also factored into his calculations that the spawns would lose their ability to move after the queen was defeated. The battle ends exactly as Noel predicted, with the mission completed in 74 seconds. Noel's teammates are impressed but joking, teasing him for being too confident with his risky timing. Noel's thoughts then shift to a memory of his grandfather. As a child, Noel had been upset about being a talker, and he wished to be a warrior like his grandfather. Noel's grandfather reassured him, promising that his talent would shine, and he would help Noel to become the strongest seeker. Back to the present, Noel silently reaffirms his goal to surpass his grandfather. Even as a talker, the role most people consider the weakest. Then Noel tells how Itrai, the capital of the Velen Empire, thrives on magic and technology derived from research on the monsters. The city depends on seekers to protect it from the abyss, and they are admired as heroes. Later, while the team enjoys a meal, Noel reflects on how at 15 years old, he began searching for companions in Itrai, knowing that as a talker he couldn't fight alone. Walter, proud of their 5 million Phil reward, talks about their progress, while Tanya and Lloyd discuss aiming higher. However, Noel quietly thinks that they could benefit from having a scout, but for now he focuses on gaining experience with his current team. The conversation changes when Walter asks Noel if he is upset about the reward. Walter is drunk, so Walter teases Noel for caring too much about money, saying a seeker should be big-hearted. Walter's words about money trigger a memory for Noel, reminding him of something his grandfather had once told him. Noel's grandfather explained that seekers must prioritize money to buy the best equipment and supplies for survival. Being labeled as greedy or evil is a mark of success, not shame. Noel's grandfather, known as Overdeath, taught Noel never to let others look down on him, regardless of their opinions. Returning to the present, Noel insists he isn't upset, but Walter continues to criticize him. This escalates into a back-and-forth exchange, with Noel mocking Walter's reliance on age for authority. Skills are all that matters for a seeker, so Noel mocks Walter for using his age to force others to agree with him. The furious Walter accuses Noel of staying safe in battle, while others take the risk. Walter reminds him that he puts his own life at risk to tank for the others, but Noel continues to taunt him. Their argument intensifies as Walter says that he will end Noel's life, and Noel accepts his challenge. Lloyd steps in to break it up, and he reminds them that they are all comrades. Lloyd suggests that they split their reward and call it a night, successfully calming the tension between them. After completing the mission, the team is left with only 250,000 each after paying the clan. Tanya is disappointed with the payout, feeling that it was too small for the effort involved. Lloyd explains that while the mission was tough, missions like these are rare, and they will make more money when they take on another job. However, Noel points out that unlike official clans, they don't receive missions directly from the country, which limits their opportunities and earnings. Noel mentions how rare missions like these are for independent seekers like them, and how much more difficult it is without being part of a clan. Lloyd updates the group on their total savings, which amounts to just over 12.8 million. Without hesitation, Noel proposes using that money to establish their clan. Lloyd warns Noel that starting a clan requires paying the country 20 million, far more than they currently have. Noel responds confidently, stating that he is willing to cover the remaining 7.2 million from his savings. Noel's determination is clear. Noel believes that establishing a clan will allow them to break free from doing second-hand jobs and truly grow. Despite Lloyd's warnings about the high costs of renting a base of operations in the capital, Noel remains undeterred, explaining that he already has a lead on a cheap place. Lloyd expresses doubts about their ability to manage a clan, pointing out that there are still a young, inexperienced C-rank team. Lloyd feels that they aren't ready for such a responsibility. Noel challenges this thinking, asking Lloyd when exactly they will be ready. Noel argues that if they don't take action now, they will remain stuck as C-rank seekers forever. Noel insists that experience will come from running a clan, not from waiting until they feel ready. Lloyd continues to express concern, stating that without the country's trust, they won't receive high-paying jobs they need to succeed. Noel counters this by explaining that their youth attractiveness and strength are assets the country values. The country wants more seekers, and a successful seeker is often seen as both an idol and a hero. Noel believes that their look and skills will help them succeed, and he even brings up how signing contracts with companies could bring them sponsorships and additional income. Walter, still shocked by the conversation, can't believe that being good-looking could help them get better treatment from the country, but Noel remains confident. Noel even tells Walter that despite his flaws, he too has the kind of looks that could benefit the clan's image. Walter, who was initially skeptical, is eventually swayed by Noel's argument. Tired of doing second-hand jobs, Walter agrees with the idea of forming a clan, adding that status, fame, and money are all appealing. Walter even makes a crude joke about using his newfound status to attract women, which causes Tanya to scold him. With Walter on board, Noel turns to Lloyd, asking for his opinion as the leader. Noel's determination shocks everyone when he reveals that if they don't agree to form a clan, he is prepared to quit the party and take his share of their savings. Noel reminds them that he has a dream to become the greatest seeker, surpassing even his grandfather, the legendary Overdeath. Lloyd is taken aback by Noel's conviction, but he understands that this is something Noel isn't willing to compromise on. After thinking it over, Lloyd agrees. Lloyd's reason is that they would have to make this decision sooner or later. Tanya, still in disbelief, questions Lloyd's choice, but Lloyd reassures her that this was always the path they were headed towards. Lloyd recommends that they continue discussing the details later, after resting and recovering from the long day and all the alcohol. The group agrees to reconvene in 2 days to finalize their plans. As everyone leaves, Tanya stops Noel, but she just ends up saying goodbye. The next day, Walter frantically tells Noel that Lloyd and Tanya have betrayed them, leaving them shaken and uncertain about what to do next. So now what will happen next? Subscribe to our channel to find out what will happen next. So friends, if you liked our recap video, then please like and share this video, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.